Right, so we just kicked this off with those comments from Bezos. It's been a big couple of weeks, specifically where private human spaceflight is concerned and all the attention that suborbital space tourism is getting. But in general, this moment where commercial space is emerging, this new era, there are national security implications as well as innovation implications more broadly on society as well. How do you see that?
Look, it's very exciting. Who would have imagined that the private sector would be leading in space? Certainly, when I worked these issues in Congress 20 years, nobody could imagine it. But it's the same type of transition that the defense industry went through years ago, where the government was leading it and then the private sector took over. And so it's very exciting. It's great to see American entrepreneurism in space. And it's the same thing I see in the defense sector, which is why I've associated myself with EPRIS. Cutting edge, high tech companies doing fantastic things that are not only going to enhance our nation's security, but are going to really position the United States well for the 21st century.
And certainly under your leadership at the DOD and the past administration in general, we did start to see that cutting of the red tape, that those policies that were implemented to try and help spur this defense startup landscape and create more opportunities for some of these small companies to break into what has traditionally been a very hard to crack into market with a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of spending and time associated with it. Now that you're on the private side, you mentioned EPRIS. What does that look like? What are the challenges that you're seeing?
Well, you know, one of the things I brought to my role as first as Secretary of the Army and Secretary of Defense later was my understanding of the defense industry. I spent many years at a prime, and so I understand how things work from that side. But there was a clear awakening, if you will, in many ways at DOD over the past few years that we had to reach out more toward the entrepreneurs, the innovators, the folks on the VC, PE side of things, and make sure we bring their technologies in, help them along, partner with them. So one of the things I did as Secretary of the Army is I would meet every single week with leaders of companies of all sizes to understand what they were doing, their technologies, and how we at the Army at the time could do better. That eventually led to the stand-up of Futures Command in Austin, Texas, an innovation hub. So that was very critical. I then brought that to DOD and continued that same type of pace as best I could pre-pandemic to make sure we were reaching out and partnering because, again, the key to the 21st century is maintaining overmatch, maintaining our deterrent capabilities. And that will be based on cutting-edge technologies, whether it's hypersonics, AI, autonomy, directed energy, which is what EPRIS is focused on these days. All those things are going to be critical to the United States winning the 21st century.
Secretary Esper, I'm going to ask you to put your former hat back on for a moment, if I may, and ask you, how concerned are you and how concerned should we be for what's happening in Afghanistan right now as we're leaving? The Taliban now claims it has regained 80% control of the region. Iran is there. Its influence is growing. There are fears of all-out civil war. How concerned are you?
Well, look, I'm concerned for any number of reasons. First and foremost, we went into Afghanistan in 2001 to make sure that it never again became a launching point, a home base, if you will, for terrorists such as al-Qaeda. So we need to make sure at the end of the day that we prevent that from happening ever again. I think it is the right thing to get out of Afghanistan. I don't think this is the right way to do it. It is too precipitous. It is what I argued against when I was wearing my former hat as Secretary of Defense. I did not support a precipitous withdrawal. But I see the current administration doing that. I think the way forward was always through a political agreement. We were making good progress at the time, and I thought that should have been kept up. But we are where we are, and we need to make the best of it and ensure that we go back to that core tenet, and that is making sure that Afghanistan never again becomes a place from which the United States can be threatened by terrorists.
Is Iran the biggest threat to stability in that region as we speak right now?
Oh, absolutely. You know, since the 1979 revolution, it's been 40 years of malign behavior, whether it's pursuing nuclear weapons, long-range ballistic missiles, or their support of proxy groups throughout the region, all the way from Africa into South Asia. So Iran is a malign influence. We need them to be a rational, normal country, but they seem to have no interest in becoming that. So we need to keep the pressure up. We need to work with partners and allies. They are key to this, and to make sure that we deter and address Iranian bad behavior.
Yeah.
And look, one thing I'd add is one of the ways by which Iran spreads that bad behavior is through the use of proxies, employing things like drones, fixed-wing drones, rotary-wing drones, Those are the types of threats that the United States faced during my time, we face today, that will threaten our troops, our warfighters, our position in that region. That's why critical technologies like Leonidas that you see behind me, that Epirus is building, that use high-power microwaves to knock down drones, swarms of drones, will be critical to making sure that we protect our warfighters and advance our interests.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.